Okay, this is the last video in Chapter 2. This is Lesson 8, Financial Literacy. Some of you are going to want to buy cars someday, use credit cards someday, buy a house someday. That's all part of financial literacy. You're definitely going to want to pay attention to this chapter, or this lesson, because this one is going to help you for a lot of things in the future. So first we're going to start with some vocab. Our vocab right now is really important because we are going to use all these words in the formula, but the first thing we have to do is we have to talk about simple interest. Simple interest is the amount of money that you're going to pay to use someone else's money. And simple interest can be a really, really good thing, and it can be a not so good thing. It can be a good thing if you've got a bank account and the bank is paying you interest to use your money. That happens. A lot of banks have just a small percent of interest on your savings account, maybe like a 0.3%, and that means that they're going to pay you 0.3% so that they can use your money to loan out to other people. Simple interest can be a bad thing as well. And I don't want to say bad, but it's not as nice of a thing sometimes. If you're borrowing somebody's money, so let's say you go to the bank and you want to borrow money to buy a car, they're going to charge you interest. You have to pay that interest, and that's usually a higher percentage, maybe like 3% interest instead of 0.3% interest. So they don't pay you as much as they charge you, but that's how interest is going to go. So let's pay more attention to our vocab and see how the other words work together. Principal. Principal is the amount of money that's borrowed or invested. So that's the amount of money that you are either borrowing from the bank or the amount of money that you have in your account, and they're going to calculate interest based on that amount. Rate. Rate is the percent used to calculate interest. It's the percent that's used to calculate the interest that you're going to pay. So these two numbers up here would be the rate, the interest rate. Okay? We are going to have to remember to change that to a decimal when we use the simple interest formula, because remember, we can't use percents to do multiplication. They're not so nice. The last thing we have to remember, the last vocab word for us in this lesson is time. And time, when it comes to interest, is the time it takes for the money to be paid back or invested. So let's say you borrow money to buy a car and you agree to pay that money back in 6 years. That is the time in this problem. Or let's say you have some money in a bank account and you leave it in that account for 5 months. That would be the time that it takes for that money to earn a little bit of interest as well. So time is dealing directly with our investment or our loan. Very important, here we have our simple interest formula. It is I for interest equals P for principal times R for rate times T for time. Okay, I equals PRT. That's a big multiplication problem for you. And this is a huge note right here. So huge, we're going to highlight it in green. Time is measured in years. So that means in the event that they don't tell you a year number, you have to change it to years. So let me give you an example. If they have you paying back a loan in 6 months, you need to take that 6 months and turn it into years. So we do that by taking our 6 and making it the numerator, putting it over 12 because there are 12 months in a year, and then doing some division to change that to a decimal. Okay, so we will do this in a couple examples today. If they give you years right away, you just leave it as the normal number, but if they give you months, you have to do a little conversion first. Okay, let's see an example. Example 1, Arnold is putting $580 into a savings account. That's the money he is investing, so that's our P for principal. The account pays 3% simple interest. That is the interest rate. So there's our R. How much interest will Arnold have after 3 months? 3 months. That's our time that he's investing the money. Now this question is asking us just to solve for the interest. So we're going to use the formula I equals P R T. Remember, when variables are next to each other, it means to multiply. The P is the principal, it's $580. The rate is 3%. We have to change that to a decimal. We're going to use D2P. So we move our decimal point 2 places to the left. Grab your decimal, 1 place, 2 places, and put a 0 in the empty bucket. So we get times 0.03. And then we have to put our time in. Well, remember, time is expressed in years. And they definitely didn't give us years in this problem. They gave us 3 months. So to turn that into years, we put our 3 in the numerator and a 12 in the denominator because there are 12 months in a year. Drop the 3 into the house, and we're going to do a little bit of division here. 12 does not go into 3, but it does go into 30 twice, and we get 24. Subtract, and we get a 6. Bring down the 0. 12 goes into 60 5 times evenly. So we get 0.25 for our time. I'll put that in blue. So at this time, we can do our multiplication. To speed things up, I will be using my calculator. Because I want to make sure this goes quickly for you. I don't want to make this video longer than it has to be. So 580 times 0.03 is 17.4. I'm doing these one step at a time. 17.4 times 0.25 is $4.35. And that is the interest. We solved here for the interest. Okay? If we want to know how much money is in the account altogether, we take this interest and we add it to the money that's already in the savings account. That's not what it asks us to do here, so I'm not going to do that right now. But I just want you to know this is only the interest that we earn. This is not anything else. Example number 2, Shirley took out a $15,000 auto loan. So that sounds like the principal to me. That's the amount of money she borrowed. She has to pay it back in 6 years. Nice. This is already in years. That's our time. With a 2.5% interest rate. What is the total amount she will pay on the loan? So this one asks for the total. So we're going to have to find out the interest by using the formula I equals PRT. And then we're going to have to take that interest and add it to the principal to figure out the total that she will pay back. Because she has to pay back the principal that she borrowed, and she also has to pay interest on that money. So we will have to do an extra step once we solve this problem. So the formula is I equals PRT, principal times rate times time. The principal is $15,000. The rate is 2.5%. Take your decimal, move it 2 places to the left, and add a 0. So we get 0.025 for the rate. And the time is 6 years. We don't have to do anything to that 6. We can just leave it a 6 because it's already expressed in years. So that's good for us. That's what we like to see. So I'm going to use my calculator again here. 15,000 times 0.025. That's $375. And we have to pay that interest for 6 years. So we're going to multiply that by 6. Just brought my 6 down into place there. 375 times 6 is $2,250. And that is the interest. We solved for the interest here. Okay? So, Shirley doesn't just pay the bank $2,250. She has to also pay back the original amount of the loan, the $15,000. So to figure out how much she pays back in total, we have to take our $15,000 and add $2,250 in interest. And we get $17,250. So the total amount that she'll pay back on the loan is $17,250. There's one more example here, guys. I need you to watch this last example. This last example is going to put us into a brand new level of financial literacy, calculating Shirley's monthly payment. Okay, so really quickly, this is the end of number 2, $17,250. That's how much Shirley will pay back in all. Number 3 asks us to calculate her monthly car payment, including interest. So that's going to take a little bit of math wizardry here. So first we have to remember that she is paying $17,250 in total. So she pays back $17,250, and that is her principal plus the interest. And we're trying to find her monthly car payment. Okay? So hopping back to my previous problem, it says that she is going to take 6 years to pay off this loan. So 6 years, we're trying to figure out how many months that will be. So 6 years times 12 months in a year gets us 72 payments. So she is going to make 72 payments on her car. So to figure out what her monthly payment is, we have to take $17,250 and divide it by those 72 monthly payments. And I am going to use my calculator for that. $17,250 divided by 72 monthly payments. Shirley is going to pay back $239.58. Let me fix that quick. $239.58 per month. The actual answer was $239.583333. I just did some rounding here. So her monthly payment is $239.58. And we calculated that by figuring out how many payments she would make in all and dividing her total amount back. Total amount that she has to pay back by how many payments she'll make. Okay, go back through this one. This is a really important example. We're going to see more like this in the practice problems and in the book work. If you have any questions, let me know. Please complete your practice problems right now.